The former top lawyer of the Israeli military has been arrested over a leaked video showing Israeli soldiers brutally assaulting a Palestinian prisoner. Major General Yifrat Toma Yerushalmi resigned last week, saying she took full responsibility for the leak. She's now being detained on suspicion of obstruction of justice and breach of trust. Well, the footage was leaked back in August 2024, and it shows Israeli soldiers dragging and allegedly sexually abusing a Palestinian prisoner, hiding their actions behind riot shields. All right, let's cross over to Noor Oda, who's in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Noor, I think it's fair to say that when this video was leaked to the media and internationally, it confirmed something human rights organizations in Israel, organizations like B'Tselem, had been aware of for some time. That rape and allegations of degrading forms of torture were reportedly being used against Palestinians in Israeli detention. And now news that the source of the leak was an Israeli military legal chief. Netanyahu, though, is simply calling this a media failure. Walk us through the waves this case is creating in Israel.
Well, this is creating really a political and legal storm in Israel, and Neve. On the one hand, you have the Israeli government coalition accusing this top general, the chief military advocate, of blood libel against the Israeli army, of defaming Israeli soldiers. Netanyahu went as far as saying this was the most dangerous assault on Israel's image since its establishment, and many in Israel are hesitant or really fearful, actually, of the fact that maybe Netanyahu and his coalition partners will use this as an excuse, as a pretext to introduce the changes they wanted in the Israeli judiciary, but also in the Israeli military. There is so much focus on the fact that this video was leaked at the expense of discussing how this crime actually happened, and the fact that the UN says these kinds of crimes are being committed in a widespread and systematic manner. So in one way, it's an opportunity to kind of escape, to run away from these kinds of crimes that are happening, to deny that they're happening by focusing on this woman, on the fact that she leaked the video, even though ironically she was accused of shying away from opening investigations into abuses carried out by the Israeli army, precisely because she was afraid of the backlash of the Israeli right wing.
Noor, we know that 5 reservists were indicted back in February for aggravated abuse and serious assault, February this year, I should say. So in a way, this leak has allowed Israel's justice system to go after wrongdoing in its own ranks, in its own facilities. And now, ironically, the source of that leak is also facing justice. I wonder if one case affects the other, whether one entirely eclipses the other, whether it undermines this case against the reservists.
It's certainly eclipsing the case against those reservists, and it may, in fact, undermine the case against them. They appeared masked in a press conference yesterday for fear of being recognized and facing prosecution internationally. Because remember, Neve, Israel is under investigation at the International Criminal Court. It's still facing charges of genocide at the International Court of Justice, and in both courts, Israel had claimed that it has an independent judiciary, that it has thorough and robust investigations within the military law enforcement mechanism, and that it didn't need to face scrutiny by international courts. This prosecution of the military advocate, this focus on the leak rather than the crime, will certainly have implications at The Hague, where those investigations are ongoing.
Do you trust these people, truth seeker? Do you trust the leaders of this government or theirs or theirs with your life? You would be a damn fool if you put any trust in any of these people, these governments. This government who has run cover, supported, funded that country while they've committed genocide on camera and have been caught time after time lying, using propaganda to convince the blind that they are the holy people, the chosen. That's why there's only one person, one place that you can confidently put your trust. And that's in Abba Yahuwah. He's the only one that you can give esteem to and praise without wondering if they're going to, it's going to come out that they are actually a pedophile running a massive teenage beauty queen pedophile ring. You can't put your trust in man because you just never know how things might turn out. You can't put your trust in a denomination who all the denominations are operating wrongly in a in falsehoods. You can't put your trust in a country, a government who you might learn later on in life that everything it stands for, everything that you thought about it was wrong, and actually it's been built on oppression, slavery, genocide, murder, rape, lies, theft. Abba Yahuwah is the only place to put your trust. His word, what he has said, the things he's told us are tried and true. They're the only solid foundation we have. That's why it's a must that you get all of the Lamb, all of his word, from chapter 1, verse 1 until the end of all books, all the prophets, all of Messiah, revelations, the instructions, the entire Lamb. Because if you don't, you're going to miss the instructions telling you that in the end times, the latter days, the skirt would be raised on the image of the beast, which is Israel, and the hoe of Babylon, which is Christianity. All these MAGA Christians, what they'll turn a blind eye to has been made apparent. What they're willing to support, to say, to do, who they really are, what they've really been about this entire time. The skirt has been lifted on all that. And his word warned us about this day. And he said, at that same time, that the skirt would be lifted, that the true Mount Zion would be revealed, and that you will have to return to it. If you don't return, you're lost to the matrix. It has you right now. if you don't see this truth. Every book has this information. Let me read a little Isaiah 43 to you. Do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. That's the rapture. There is no rapture where you're going to be caught into the sky. You have to physically gather to the real Mount Zion. I shall say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. He shall bring out a blind people who have eyes, and deaf ones who have ears. People who turn their ears and eyes on, and they come out of the matrix. All the nations shall be assembled, and the peoples be gathered. Who among them declares this, and show us former events? I showed you former events in the last video. Right in Jeremiah chapter 23, he says, just like the way I brought Moses and the children out of Egypt, I'm going to bring you out in the latter days. The only difference is we're not coming out in one crowd. We're coming out from all over the place, one by one. Or, maybe you'll bring some people with you. I don't know. But you have to come near, come to Zion. Otherwise, the matrix done you in. Knock, knock, truth seeker.